Afghanistan, the graveyard of empires. Both Britain and the USSR fought wars of futility in this inhospitable land. So what was America thinking when they invaded in 2001? I'm Indy Neidell. This is a TimeGhost short. September 20th, 2001. The Twin Towers of the World Trade Center are a pile of rubble and twisted metal, and nearly 3,000 people are dead following the Al-Qaeda attacks 9 days ago. Addressing Congress, President George Bush vows retribution against Al-Qaeda and its leader, Osama bin Laden. America has wanted bin Laden for several years. His organization was responsible for the suicide bombings of U.S. embassies in Tanzania and Kenya and the destroyer Cole. Since 1996, he has been harbored by Afghanistan's theocratic Islamic rulers, the Taliban. Bush issues an ultimatum. The Taliban must act and act immediately. They will hand over the terrorists or they will share in their fate. The response comes quickly, and it is a firm no. Taliban leader Mullah Omar is asked in an interview with Voice of America if he will give up bin Laden. He responds, "We cannot do that. If we did, it means we are not Muslims, that Islam is finished. If we were afraid of attack, we could have surrendered him the last time we were threatened and attacked." CIA Director George Tenet and Head of Central Command General Tommy Franks believe the Taliban can be dislodged with few American boots ever touching Afghan soil. So the first stage of operations begins not with shock and awe, but a small team of CIA agents and a huge stack of cash. They are inserted into the Panjshir Valley. Their mission is to secure the support of the Northern Alliance, a united front of anti-Taliban militia who control the mountainous north and whom the U.S. hopes will do most of the fighting. Team leader Gary Schroen carries several $1 million as, in his words, the lubricant that makes things happen in Afghanistan. After paying $500,000 to an Afghan contact for the introduction, he has a meeting with General Fahim, a Northern Alliance commander whose cooperation is secured with $1 million. Fahim pledges his men and assists the CIA with mapping Taliban positions for airstrikes. These begin on October 7th and continue for several weeks while the CIA recruits more local warlords. On the 30th, the Northern Alliance unleashes its ground offensive. With the support of coalition air power and American and British special forces, they quickly overwhelm the Taliban. Cities fall in rapid succession. Mazar-e-Sharif, then Kunduz, with thousands of Taliban killed or captured. The final obstacle is Kandahar in the south, which falls on December 6th. With this, the Taliban leadership flee into hiding and a UN-backed government is established. So, the Taliban are seemingly gone, but what of bin Laden and the Al-Qaeda leadership? They are tracked down to Tora Bora, a network of caves on the mountainous border with Pakistan. It is a fortified position. Bin Laden has a huge arsenal, is surrounded by inhospitable terrain, and can retreat into a warren of cave tunnels. American and British special forces have actually had the mountains under siege since November 29th, though, with bombers pounding the area from above in as many as 100 airstrikes per day, and he seems trapped. By December 7th, bin Laden and his men are low on food and water. They open negotiations with the Northern Alliance, securing a one-day halt to the bombing to give up their weapons. But bin Laden and 800 fighters manage to then slip across the border to Pakistan. When U.S. forces finally clear the caves on the 16th, they find only dead bodies and abandoned weapons. Bin Laden has escaped Afghanistan, and his jihad will continue until his death a decade later. U.S. presence is now established in Afghanistan, and they will help to try to build a new Afghan nation. But this nation-building project will keep the U.S. occupied in what becomes the longest war in American history. And the Taliban leadership and many of its fighters may have fled, but they return. They do return. For more TimeGhost shorts, click here and join the TimeGhost Army at patreon.com or timeghost.tv so we can continue making all of our productions, the short and the long. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.